Okay. So without wasting any further time, let's dig into our interview. I know that you have a humongous experience of the corporate world, and the fact that you have actually shared the stage with so many illuminaries, and the fact that you have actually met people from all walks of life. I want to leverage that experience of yours for my audience. And that's why I want to ask you, why does the corporate speak, or the corporate tongue, or I can say the corporate language in itself, it feels and sounds so different than our regular conversation? Like, why are there so many heavy words, business jargons, legal jargons being used, to congregate them and essentially be told that this is the corporate language? Why is it so?
If I were to tell you, the answer is a bit nuanced because when I joined my first job as a software engineer, and you see the software industry, the way it shaped up in India, it was primarily because most of the clients were based out of US or Western world. And that's the reason, even in campus interviews, you will see there has been a lot of emphasis on whether you are able to speak properly or not, because your team will be sitting at different place. Like I remember in my first job, I was part of a team. We had Mexican folks, we had Italian folks, everyone with their own accent, everyone with their own way of speaking and all that. Being in tech industry, English, that too kind of English that you are onshore counterparts can understand becomes very important. Now, I had quite a 180-degree experience because when I get into MBA, and I was thinking that MBA is more onto these jargons and all that, very huge terms like boil the ocean, beat around the bush. I don't know, a lot of these all are consulting jargons. If you see the big four and big three, and you get into MBA with that kind of mindset, but the corporate world itself, as I said, is fragmented a lot. So my first job was into manufacturing, and my second job was also in manufacturing. And in manufacturing or even in sales, they don't speak English at all. It's pure Hindi or it's pure local language. Like I was in Maharashtra, so most of our meetings were happening in Marathi only. So you need to, even if you have to, being an HR person, I have to communicate with the workers. I need to understand Marathi or at least know some bit of it. And in Asian Paints, we had a very khichdi kind of a management. Our plant head was from Telugu, like he had a Telugu background. A lot of people were either from Chennai or they were speaking Tamil or Malayalam. Then there were few people like me who were from northern regions. And surprisingly, even in our meetings, we were not speaking English. We were speaking Hindi only. So quite a different perspective I got from there. So I would say you need to understand corporate is not IT or corporate is not consulting. And every industry that you will get into, like if you are into banking, the way they speak is very differently. The kind of jargons they use is very differently. If you are into telecom, like I interned in Vodafone in Bhopal for 2 months. So that industry was running very differently. So I would say it depends on which kind of industry you are in, which kind of locality you are in. But mostly what you said, those are limited to the IT industry. And no matter where you are working, where you're working in Delhi, you're working in Pune, in Kolkata or Bangalore, IT industry will be full of jargon. Same goes for consulting. But beyond that, there's a huge world of manufacturing, FMCG, telecommunication, banking, and they will have their own stereotypes. They will have their own ways of working and speaking, and that is where one need to be very flexible. Because, like I remember when I was a software engineer, the culture was you don't call anyone. There was a communicator. You ping on them and then you mail. But in manufacturing, you call people directly, and the
Okay.
kind of conversation also, the kind of conversation style also in IT or in consulting, you speak very politely. Hey, hello, how are you, could you please, so there is a way you speak, and it is taught to us when we are into uh, uh, young freshers as software engineers. But in Indian companies especially, you speak like the way you and I are talking. So again, as I said, it depends on the context and it depends on the kind of industry we are in.
Okay. So the reason why I was asking you this question is because I've got a lot of, kind of questions from some of my friends who are actually working out. And according to them, even if we keep the jargon part aside, let's keep the jargon part aside, and then we come to the fancy way of speaking English, which is actually prevalent in corporates these days. You may see the terms being used like restructure, Could you please restructure this? Could you please streamline this? Sing this up for me. Okay, let's table this for now. Or even give me a ballpark figure. These kinds of phrases, which are, you don't use these phrases in your normal conversation. And even
True.
I'll tell you, even in 1980s, I was recently reading an article. Usme likha tha that 1980s maybe there was this particular kind of a code language which was used by the senior management to converse with their employees. Code language is because let's say if they want to discuss and address a problem which can be easily solved, they used to call it as the low hanging fruits. Problem which is quite obvious, they're going to call that rattlers. And problem जो बहुत ही ज़्यादा critical हो, it's like a situation जहाँ गई भैंस पानी में है. Those kinds of situations they would refer to as python. So I want to know the reasoning behind this. Okay, let's say even if we say कि English चलता है, थोड़ा मराठी, थोड़ा ये, थोड़ा वो, but why is this language been made and crafted in a fancy way? And that happens in a lot of corporate offices. Is it just to sound fancy, or is it to speak indirectly what you want to convey? Like अगर आपको किसी को fire करना होगा तो you will say, we need to cut the capacity. You won't say directly we need to fire. So how does the mentality or the psychology of the senior management goes that way in corporates?
So as I said, if you're working where the real action is happening, like if you're in a manufacturing plant or if you are into sales, you will never see people say boil the ocean or low hanging fruit or whatever other terms are. But these are pretty relevant. First in consulting industry, second in IT industry, and third in headquarters. Now, if you had to ask me how this originated, I personally feel when the liberalization was happening and in the 90s when a lot of BPOs start coming in India, they were trained again with that mindset that they will be talking a lot to Western folks. Also, a lot of these trainings were organized by the consulting companies, big three companies, big four companies. And in consulting, you will see the jargons are quite popular. Like my wife worked in EY right now, also she's in consulting. A lot of my friends are into consulting. So all these jargons come from consulting. And if you see in general consulting, now it might be a bit controversial if I say that, but I feel consulting is a bit fancy. They have all this super cool text, super smart Excel formulas, very aesthetic, and the language they speak, and that is a big disconnect where you will see in India that there are people who have worked only in headquarters. Whenever they go to a manufacturing site or a site where real work is done, their language is quite fancy, and the people who are doing the work, it is again very different. And there are frequent clashes that happen, especially you'll see sales and marketing guys, they are always into clash. Plant and head office, they're always into clash because either you are working or you're talking. So I remember back in when I was in Reliance, and there was a huge problem that happened, and the head office was pushing these people to send a report by 1 p.m. And everyone was so pissed that whether we will work or we'll send you a report. And obviously when you're writing these reports, you are using those fancy words that this happened, there was a huge outrage or whatever. You don't write simple English. So I don't know the origin. My good guess is that a lot of these trainings were conducted by consulting companies, a lot of these audits were conducted by consulting companies, and somehow it got into culture. But the way India is shaping right now, so you won't see these languages in startups. Quite a few startups who got funding and scaled well. Their way of working is again very desi. Why? Because their audience is desi, their client is desi. From wherever they are earning money, the vendors they are working with, all are part of the Indian ecosystem. And you won't say boil the ocean there, or you won't say low hanging fruit, restructure, synergy, harmony, align, etc., in these kind of companies. So again, I think the context matters. If there is a Western interface or exposure, you will see the language changing. But if the ecosystem, and I would say there's a term called Lala company, you might have heard. So Lala companies are the companies who were created 30, 40 years ago, running on a
Generational,
very,
the generational
yeah,
company.
generational companies. So their way of speaking is again a notch below what you expect decent conversation. So slangs and abuses are quite common, insults are quite common. So context to context things will depend, become different, and that is where shock come to people when they get into MBA. They feel I will be wearing a fancy suit and talking fancy English, and the first job they get is some remote village of Bihar. They are selling Fevicol there, or they're selling soda there. So you don't use those kind of terms there. So it will depend on what where you are working and in what capacity you're working. But yeah, obviously, at the top level, you'll always see language is becoming a bit fancy. I wouldn't say a lot fancy. It is restricted to, in my experience, it is restricted to consulting and IT. Even with FMCG companies, you won't see even the senior leadership talking in a lot of jargons.
Okay, so if I was to conclude from what you actually explained me, I think we can conclude that these kinds of fancy language and the fancy words, fancy jargons are actually the cup of tea for the senior management. And mostly, if your job actually involves dealing with international clients, working for MNCs and the IT and the consulting part. Okay.
Yes,
And do you
yes.
think there's a scope for these kinds of fancy language and words in the marketing field as well?
So again, depend on where you are working. So marketing, anyway, they have the very different lingo. So every function will have a very different lingo. Like I'm in HR, I have my own terminology. Marketing, they will use ATL, BTL. I don't know. A lot of abbreviations are there that I don't understand. TAM, PAM, I don't know. So every when it comes to niche roles, especially post MBA roles, you will see the language changing because of the way you're working. Because the kind of people you're working, the abbreviations are quite common. Now, when I was into startup, a lot of time they used to use this BTL, ATL, GTM. I don't used to understand, then I had to Google what is. Right now, I'm working for a client that is into high frequency trading. So again, their abbreviations are very different. So jargons, as I said, it again limits to people who do a lot of meeting, who do a lot of report sharing, and who do a lot of PowerPoint presentations, reviews, etc. But with the team that are actually working on ground, you will see they adapt to a language that is more convenient to speak and understand. That's the reason I'm telling you. In Maharashtra, when I was into Reliance plant, Marathi used to be a frequent language. When I was working with Asian Paints Mysuru, our entire staff was full of local Kannadigas. So quite a few times, like one of my friend is into marketing, and for a brief time he was the head of Tamil Nadu for a beverage product, and he learned speaking Tamil. So again,
Okay.
as I said, when he was in Goa, he learned some of the local words there. So people adopt accordingly because they have to work with the people on ground. And if you're, let us say, you're into marketing, or let us say you're into sales, and you have a fleet of regional managers working for you, 10 folks, yeah, and you are into some rural part of, let us say, Maharashtra, and all 10 of them speak Marathi. So whether you'll use fancy English with them, or you'll use the
Obviously,
language
the
they understand.
language, right?
Yeah, yeah. So in a nutshell, this is how it is, that you speak the language people understand. So if and that is where the difference will come. There are senior leaders who come from consulting background. You'll see a lot of people who have worked in McKinsey for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, or BCG, and they have come to line business. So you'll see folks below them adopting to the language they want to hear, and you will see people who have come directly in a CEO position from a very different company, but he is speaking a very simple language because that was the culture in their company. So you'll see people below adopting to. So in a nutshell, whether you're working with the bottom people or with the top people, you will adopt to speak in a language they understand, because the main prima, I would say, the main key work of the language remain that you want to be heard and understood. And in a corporate setup, lot of information is being exchanged daily on WhatsApp, on calls, on emails. A lot of confusion happens, and that is where people try to be as simple as possible.
So we'll move on to our next question. So I have read somewhere that Leo Tolstoy once said that if everyone in this world fought for their own convictions, there would be no war.
Hmm.
And on the similar
Hmm.
notes, I strongly believe that if everyone in the world spoke with conviction, there would be no bad speakers. Because they
Hmm.
would really be believing in what they are saying, and hence that would give them a lot of confidence. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
what is your take on this particular philosophy? And I would request you कि हम लोग इसको compartmentalize करते हैं तीन parts में. Firstly, you can tell my friends that
Hmm.
what conviction actually is. Secondly, why is it
Hmm.
necessary for one to be a powerful and a better speaker? And thirdly, how
Mm-hmm.
can we, the newcomers in this field, can inculcate this particular skill while we are speaking?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So interestingly, I will counter that with another effect. I forgot the name. It's something called drunker or something effect, and that says that generally those who are not experts or generally who are stupids, they have much more confidence, and I would translate that to that they would also speak with much more conviction than those who are actually experts. Yeah. So
Okay.
I would say it has nothing to do with your expertise, and there are a lot of people who know nothing, but they will really speak with conviction. So let us I would say, let's keep subject matter expertise apart and conviction apart. Having
Okay.
said that, yes, definitely. So there's a term we use a lot in corporate, and that is called assertiveness, and that is something we coach. So when you join a corporate, you start as an individual contributor. That means there is something you are skilled in that, and you have to work accordingly. Like you represent a law, so you being a legal person knows a lot of subject matter expertise in the legal domain, and if you had joined a corporate, you would have started with some sort of a legal role, and then you move up the ladder. So there comes a point, and mostly in Indian hierarchy, you have to take team leader kind of a role, and this is where your subject matter expertise start mattering a bit less, and your managerial or administrative skills start mattering more. Why? Because you are kind of in the middle layer. You have to manage people who are on your top. At the same time, you have to manage people that are on your bottom. At the same time, there are a lot of peers also. You'll be in constant locking horn kind of a situation with them, and this is when being assertive or having a tone that reflects assertiveness. I'm not talking about authority, only assertiveness. So that matters a lot. And when how does that happen? And you might have heard a lot of people do not respect their managers much, or do not have high regards for their managers. Why? Because their managers can't represent them well. Why? Because their managers can't speak with conviction. Why? Again, because the managers don't know what is working around. So as I said, although subject matter expertise will matter a bit less, doesn't mean you shouldn't know it. So conviction will come automatically when you know, especially in a corporate setting, what is happening. You know your team, you know what is happening on top, you know what is happening on the bottom, you know what is happening on the sideways, and then you will be able to speak with conviction. And this is what I will say to everyone, that having conviction is a very good skill, but it should come only after you have the right subject matter expertise, only skills. Else you would be known as someone who speaks very confidently, very with a lot of conviction, yet you are a fool.
Okay. So, okay, so we'll break this down. So you're saying that one needs to know actually what's happening around them, be very sure of how things are working, and then you can put that assertiveness in your tone and the way you're speaking.
So it depends on what kind of words you are choosing. So if you are the subject matter expert, so there are a lot of time when people argue me on HR, yeah, because they feel HR is not a science, or HR. So my domain, human resources, yeah. So a lot of people speak about HR with great conviction, though they do not know anything about it. And this is where choice of words matter a lot. So if I am talking to someone, let us say in the marketing department or in the finance department, I'm not a subject matter expert. Yeah, the person who at least academically or theoretically is a subject matter expert. So my choice of words should be, if I don't know anything about that topic, in my opinion, yeah, I guess, I feel, etc., etc. Maybe in my subject matter, if I'm the subject matter expert, I can skip this, because I have learned, I have experience, I have worked in the domain for 7 8 years. But suppose you and I are discussing law. Let us say you and I are discussing shops and establishment act, and me, purely because I believe what I believe in, I am lot more authoritative when I'm talking to you. Doesn't make sense, because you are the expert, you have studied it. I'm just forming some random opinion, and with my confidence I'm trying to overpower you, but at the end of the day you will think that this person is stupid. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just an add-on to that, for we the newcomers in the corporate world, like जब आप किसी इंडस्ट्री में एंटर करते हो, you do not have a 360 degree view of what's going on in the lower levels as well as the senior levels. But again, you still need to have interactions with the clients. You still need to have interactions with your seniors, your co-colleagues, peers, and everyone. So, how do you sound confident and certain in those areas and in those initial years when you do not know what's going around you?
So first and foremost, what people don't realize they need to learn is when to stay silent. You don't need to speak everywhere. You don't need to make your presence feel everywhere, especially when you're a newcomer. You just sometimes, and if you, whenever I teach communication, one of the biggest part of communication. So communication, speaking has very less weightage. Yeah, we give a lot of weightage to listening. We give a lot of weightage to non-verbal communication. Yeah? So when you are a newcomer, just understand that you are not expected to speak every time. But if you listen, if you know how to listen, if you know how to, even the art of note making, that's also a dying art because of the modern world we are living in. You won't see a lot of people with pen and diary these days. But if you listen well, if you can make good notes, that's the first step. Then second step would be asking the right questions. Again, if you're a newcomer, that means you are missing a lot of context. Again, the way we operate in corporate and the way what is taught in college, they are two different worlds. So asking the right questions should be the second most important thing, because by this you will understand every company operates differently, which is what we call informal culture. Yeah, so there are rules that are not written anywhere that you are supposed to, like, there are some companies who like people who are aggressive. There are some companies who hate aggressive people. They want very docile, very calm people. There are some companies who like people who speaks a lot, who elaborates a lot. Whereas there are companies who like people who are very pinpoint, like one or two sentences. Again, so to understand about this all, and again the context of the company and their technicalities, you should ask the right question. Then the third step will come, where you have to speak, where you have to add value. And again, for that you need to understand whatever you are speaking about, you should find relevant people, talk to them. So have your plan ready, at least have your basic bullet points ready. And then the fourth step will come, where by instinct or without any preparation you will be able to speak properly. So do not skip 1 2 3 and go directly on 4. You will make a fool of yourself.
Okay. I really think this was helpful for my friends and audience over there. Okay, just a last point to this particular question. Um, मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है दैट उज्जैन में अभी हॉस्पिटैलिटी और टूरिज्म इंडस्ट्री काफ़ी ज़्यादा बूम कर रही है. लाइक इन द लास्ट 2 years
Mhm.
देयर हैव बीन अ लॉट ऑफ बूम बिकॉज फुटफॉल इतना आ रहा है उज्जैन में. एंड आई हैव सीन दैट
True.
गवर्नमेंट कई बार स्कीम्स लेके आती रहती है कि पर्यटन मित्र और
Mhm.
हक से रोजगार तक या हुनर से रोजगार तक, सॉरी, these kinds of schemes.
Mhm.
So what do you have some advice for them also, like people who are actually working in, being a taxi driver या फिर tourist guide है या फिर hospitality industry में, there are hotel owners, resort owners, staff owners, उन लोगों के लिए the
Mhm.
part where they're actually communicating with the clients or the tourist people who are actually coming, उनको उन्हें सही तरीके से हैंडल करना बहुत जरूरी है. एंड दिस इज एक्चुअली व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट इज आल्सो प्लानिंग ऑन, बिकॉज वो जो ये ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स लेके आ रही है उसमें वो
True.
लोग सबसे पहले कम्युनिकेशन स्किल्स रखते हैं. So the fact that you need to
True.
speak assertive or else you're going to make yourself a fool, इसी इसी से रिलेटेड आपकी कोई एडवाइस है फॉर देम आल्सो, particularly in Ujjain, people who are working?
Definitely, definitely. So, Ujjain, if you see the landscape, we for a long time we didn't have a lot of good hotels, or the kind of experience people actually believe in hospitality. So ours is a pretty makeshift arrangement. Budget lodges थे, वहाँ पे जो staff होता है, they are not trained properly. Even if you see, जैसे आपने कहा tourist का footfall बढ़ा है, there were a lot of e-rickshaws that opened, and a constant problem, lot of, if you are active on Reddit, or if you're active on Facebook groups, you will see, and that is not related or confined to Gen. In all religious city, a lot of people complain that they're not hosted well. मतलब hospitality इतनी नहीं रहती, because shopkeepers are rude, e-rickshaw drivers are rude, hotel staff is rude. So again, what first we need to understand is कि hospitality doesn't mean speaking in good English, है ना. English
Yeah,
बहुत अलग
definitely.
है. और नॉर्मल अच्छे से बात करना किसी गेस्ट को, who has even paid, let us say, 400 500 rupees per day for a room, even treating that guest with respect, अंडरस्टैंडिंग देयर रिक्वायरमेंट्स, वो काफी अलग चीज है. फनी थिंग इज के व्हेन आई क्विट माय जॉब फॉर द फर्स्ट टाइम बैक इन 2019, दैट वाज वन ऑफ द स्टार्टअप आइडिया आई हैड के we'll have guided food and travel tours. एंड व्हाट दिस स्टार्टअप वाज अबाउट कि हम कुछ वॉलंटियर्स लेंगे, उन्हें ट्रेन करेंगे कम्युनिकेशन में, एंड देन जो भी सिटीज नोन है ट्रैवल प्लस फूड का कॉम्बो, जैसे उज्जैन इंदौर का एक बेल्ट हो गया, वाराणसी हो गया, ऋषिकेश हो गया, उडुपी हो गया, है ना. वी विल हैव गाइडेड फूड टूर फॉर ऑल दिस. अनफॉर्चुनेटली हम लॉन्च करने वाले थे, उसके दो एक हफ्ते पहले लॉकडाउन हो गया. So everything went for a toss and we have to decide for a different startup. But I personally feel इस area में बहुत ज़्यादा scope है. Why? Because these are the memories you create and वहाँ से एक city की image बनती है. So if you see the surveys or even opinions, which is the best city, a lot of people will say Udaipur. Why? Because the city has that kind of a vibe, so to say. Or one of the worst cities, you know which cities, I don't need to name them. Why? Because in general जब आप वहाँ घूमने जाते हैं तो बहुत ही aggression या hostility आपको मिलती है. So definitely I think the problem I personally feel with these schemes is कि ये schemes सुनने में बहुत अच्छी लगती है, but how do you ensure ground level implementation?
Yeah,
उस
correct.
प्लान्स के लिए जो स्ट्रक्चर चाहिए रहते हैं, या यू नीड टू ब्रिंग राइट पीपल नॉट ओनली टू ट्रेन बट ऑल्सो टू गवर्न और मॉनिटर द इंटायर थिंग, कि हम एक सिटी की, जैसे वन ऑफ द good example is how Indore became the cleanest city. So I lived in Indore back in 2012 2013. It was not very clean and then suddenly they changed the culture. तो अगर हम उज्जैन की सिमिलर बातें कर रहे हैं कि यार around the world tourists are, and that means not only the English speaking tourists, there will be people from non English speaking countries also. How do we treat all of them well? Obviously AI is here, so language is not a barrier anymore, we can translate anything. So basic जो human nature है now, how do you treat people with respect, you listen them, उन्हें आपकी सिटी में ऐसा महसूस ना हो कि यार मेरे साथ धोखा हो सकता है, या someone is cheating me, or you know, if someone is cheating me, the police or everything is available. So I think it's a well integrated project, सारे aspects देखने पड़ेंगे, and that too from the tourist angle, that if I'm coming to an unknown city, what is my expectation and then how can we deliver on it. And उसमें फिर अगर सिर्फ communication के एंगल की बात की जाए तो again the core remains के सारी technicalities एक तरफ, but how do we treat people with respect, or how do people who are the front face of tourism, like I said, the e-rickshaw drivers, the shopkeepers, the people who are in restaurants and hotel, how do we ensure they treat people with respect. पहले सिर्फ उस प्रॉब्लम को हमें एक बहुत ही स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में सॉल्व करना पड़ेगा, बाकी चीजें फिर बाद में आएंगी.
Language sometimes act as a barrier for you to speak with a lot of confidence, or you for you to actually showcase all those kinds of emotions or whatever you want to show. Because talking on my perspective, अगर मैं आपसे हिंदी में बात करूंगी, the way I'm gonna speak, या फिर मैं जिस तरीके से बोलूंगी, I wouldn't be able to articulate my thoughts in a better way, या फिर I wouldn't be able to project whatever my idea is or whatever I want to ask you or whatever I want to say. So it comes better in English. I don't know for what reason, but अगर मैं हिंदी में बोलने जाऊंगी तो वो ऐसा लगेगा कि हाँ ठीक है, एक नॉर्मल मॉम डैड के साथ जो कॉन्वर्सेशन होता है वो होता है. So for me, even if I have to be assertive, I need to know my surroundings, I need to empathize and everything. It would come out in a much better way when I speak this particular language, English, rather than when I
So
speak
that
in.
is, so that is how we are conditioned to be in. I read somewhere, आप आपकी मदर टंग ब्रेन के किसी डिफरेंट पार्ट से सीखते हैं, लाइक व्हेन, लाइक इट हैपेंस व्हेन यू आर लाइक 4 5 till you are 4 5 years old, there's a different part of brain that activates, and that is how you learn your mother tongue. Everything else you learn in terms of language is from a different part of the brain. And then if you see again, मैं थोड़ा उज्जैन के perspective में ही बात करूं, so and especially I am a bit older than you, so your generation might have a different experience. बस हमारे टाइम ऐसा था कि अगर आप हिंदी में बोल रहे हैं तो आप गवार हैं, है ना. सो यू नो, हमारी जो स्कूल की डायरीज में लिखा रहता था कि स्टूडेंट्स मस्ट टॉक इन इंग्लिश. एंड ऑब्वियसली आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि इंग्लिश का एडवांटेज नहीं, बहुत एडवांटेज है, आई एम रीपिंग द बेनिफिट्स. बट समहाउ जो आप कह रहे हैं, अगेन दिस इज माय ओपिनियन, सो आपने कहा था ना कन्विक्शन, तो मैं जो बोल रहा था कि आप क्या वर्ड यूज करते हैं, तो अगेन दिस इज माय ओपिनियन कि हमने हमारी मदर टंग को इतना ट्रिविलाइज कर दिया है कि यार हिंदी में तो ऐसा है हिंदी. So I am personally very close. I'm a Hindi poet, so I'm very close to Hindi and all that. But there is this thing that a lot of people throughout their life. And funny thing is मेरे साथ भी हुआ. अभी मैं थोड़े दिन पहले आकाशवाणी गया था and I was trying कि मैं पूरी शुद्ध हिंदी में बात करूं, पर वो इंग्लिश वर्ड्स आ रहे थे मेरे भी. And then I told my wife कि यार मैं अब हिंदी में भी बात नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, मतलब हर पांचवें छठे शब्द के बाद एक इंग्लिश वर्ड आ रहा है, because we are conditioned so much to communicate in English, to write in English. All our social media channels, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them are in English, and that's the reason somehow we are conditioned कि हम अंग्रेजी में बहुत अच्छे से जो भी at least this sophisticated talks and all that complicated conversation, and हिंदी is just for day to day life, जब आप एकदम थोड़े वैसे हो जाते हैं कि आपको थोड़ा नॉर्मली बात करना है and all that.
का यही हो गया है कि when they are actually on work they speak in English and they want to be fluent in it, and जब घर में आते हैं तो वो इंग्लिश चलता है, हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों मिक्स.
True. So again, it has a lot to do with and I'm not talking about Hindi. It's with all local regional language. Even doesn't matter आप South में हैं, आप गुजरात में हैं, तो you'll see older generation being taking pride in speaking their mother tongue, and then our generation being told कि यार नहीं यार English is the, and which makes commercial sense, which make financial sense, but again वो एक हो चुका है. In fact, one more study I was reading somewhere that because of the fact that बहुत सारी लैंग्वेजेस में कुछ, जैसे इंग्लिश का एक ड्रॉबैक हमेशा बताया जाता है कि वर्ड्स कम है. सो हिंदी में इंग्लिश सेम ही चीज को एक्सप्लेन करने के ज्यादा वर्ड्स हैं, और उर्दू में फिर बोलते हैं और ज्यादा वर्ड्स हैं एंड ऑल दैट. दैट्स द रीजन आप एकदम पोएट्री की बात आती है तो लोग उर्दू पे चले जाते हैं कि यार हर चीज का एक वर्ड है एंड ऑल दैट. एंड बिकॉज पीपल आर रीडिंग लेस नाउ, दे आर मोर ऑन मोबाइल. देयर वाज अ स्टडी व्हिच सेड कि अब थिंकिंग कन्वर्ज हो रही है बिकॉज वर्ड्स आर मिसिंग. या बिकॉज उतने वर्ड्स का एक्सपोजर नहीं है तो लोग सोच भी नहीं पा रहे हैं उतना. सो ये चीजें भी, ये चैलेंजेस भी होते हैं.
So since we have talked so much about soft skills, हमने ये भी सीख लिया कि the listening part is really important, assertiveness is really important, communication we have talked in our initial interview as well. But I still feel that our generation, the Gen Zs, we are dangerously aware of the fact कि हाँ hard skills आपको interview तक ले जाएगी, but it's the soft skills that actually going to decide how up in the corporate ladder you go. And I strongly feel that ये जो term है soft skills, it's actually shrouded in mystery. उसमें इतने सारे कॉम्पोनेंट्स है, उसमें लीडरशिप भी आ जाता है, टाइम मैनेजमेंट आ जाता है, प्रेजेंस ऑफ माइंड आ जाता है, देन यू हैव टैकलिंग योर क्लाइंट्स रिलेशंस, बैड पैचेस को हैंडल करना along with communication skills. There's so much stuff in just one basket, the soft skills. So I want you to actually throw some light, and I actually want to keep it restricted to the IT and consulting sector, because हमने earlier इस चीज पर डिस्कस किया था कि यही particular sectors है जहाँ पे actually you need to converse in the fancy English language. So वहाँ के लिए what are the other soft skills that are needed जो अभी तक हमने डिस्कस नहीं किया, and how can the gigantic workforce of India actually inculcate them?
So if you see, अगर आप IT and consulting की बात करेंगे, so these are generally mass recruiters. That means a lot of people are hired at the same time, and then in general, these companies' sizes are huge. Now, how do you appear different from other? And that is where communication skills set you apart, because your presence itself should be able to differentiate you. So how you are speaking, that is one part of it. Second thing, and a lot of people especially in their early times don't know, your ability to draft good emails, because in IT and consulting, email is your primary. Like I told you that in sales, हमारे manufacturing में we speak a lot on phone. IT consulting etc, they use messengers and then emails. So having good written skills, especially the ability to understand that if the mail you are going to write to your boss will be very different from the mail you're going to write to your super boss, and again if you're writing it to a VP or a CEO, it will be very different. So basis the designation you are sending a communication to, your style of speaking and the quantum of content you are putting in that email will differ, and a lot of people don't know this. जैसे बात करिए कि आपका बॉस है, तो आपका बॉस मोस्टली 2 3 या 6 लोगों को संभाल रहा होगा. They know a lot already about क्या कॉन्टेक्स्ट है, किसके बारे में आप बात कर रहे हैं. सपोज आपको कोई बजट अप्रूवल लेना है एंड ऑल दैट, या सो ऑलरेडी आपके बॉस से आपकी वन ऑन वन डिस्कशन हो चुकी है एंड ऑल दैट, एंड देन मे बी यू कैन राइट अ वेरी वेल टेलर्ड स्टोरी एंड ऑल दैट कि हाँ ये है वो है, जस्ट टू एक्सप्लेन इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड देन वट एवर. बट इफ यू आर सेंडिंग इट टू लेट अस से सीईओ, अभी सीईओ को रोज 200 मेल आते हैं सेम तरह के कि ये पैसा अप्रूव कर दो, वो पैसा अप्रूव कर दो. So to get his attention itself is a very tough thing. And vice versa, if you say in the same thing किसी मीटिंग में, तो अगर आपका कोई रिव्यू मीटिंग चल रहा है तो आपके मैनेजर को आपको एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, तो यू नो कि यार उसको ऑलरेडी चीजें पता है, यू कैन यूज सम लोकल कस्टमाइजेशन, आप उस चीज को एलाबोरेट कर सकते हैं एंड ऑल दैट. सपोज आपको कुछ अप्रूवल लेने ही जाना है तो आपके मैनेजर के पास जरूर आप 6-8 स्लाइड की पीपीटी लेके जा सकते हैं, सारा आपने दे दिया, बिकॉज योर मैनेजर इज गोइंग टू गिव यू हाफ आवर डेडिकेटेडली एंड ऑल दैट. बट द सेम थिंग इफ इट गोज टू सीईओ, अगेन सीईओ को कॉन्टेक्स्ट, उनका अटेंशन स्पान बहुत कम रहता है. So maybe within a single slide you have to zip everything. So you should know the art of zipping information कि मैंने जो पहले 8 स्लाइड बनाई थी अब उसको एक स्लाइड में कैसे डालूं, या कोई मेल जो मैंने किसी को लिखा था जिसमें लेटेस्ट से 15-20 लाइन थी, अब मैं 5-6 लाइन में उसको कैसे लिखूं, है ना. So that becomes a very crucial art, and same goes for the way you are talking in general, because let us say आप किसी सीईओ या वीपी से बात कर रहे हैं, so again वो आपको ऐसे खड़े होके बहुत सारा टाइम नहीं देंगे, so whatever it is you have to come to the point straight away. So that is a skill lot of people don't know. That is a skill I also suffered initially because I was working directly with the C-suite folks and I was not aware, because the previous companies I have worked with, वहाँ ये culture था कि सब कुछ elaborative होना चाहिए. And this new company I'm working directly with these people, I have to learn कि भाई कैसे zip करो, because they don't have the time कि आपकी 20 मिनट 25 मिनट का भाषण सुनेंगे. So we talked about written skills, we have talked about how you present yourself, then again lot of things, again we talked a lot about non-verbal communication. Lot of people don't realize कि आप मीटिंग में बैठे हैं, बहुत से लोग रहते हैं अभी वो मीटिंग में बैठे हैं, वो पेन ऐसे कर रहे हैं, कान में पेन डाल दिया, वो पेन घुमा रहे हैं, everything gets noticed. So the way you even walk into a room क्रिएट्स एन इम्प्रेशन कि आप किस तरह से चल के, आपने किस तरह से कुर्सी खिसकाई, आप किस तरह से बैठे हैं, आप किस तरह से, इवन आपने उस पूरी मीटिंग में कुछ भी नहीं बोला, यू आर जस्ट देयर एज अ साइलेंट स्पेक्टेटर, बट पीपल आर गोइंग टू नोटिस यू एंड लॉट ऑफ पीपल डोंट रियलाइज दिस. जैसे एक क्लासिक cultural I would say gap is that our generation and the generations before us, we were taught and we learned to appreciate how to dress formally, है ना. सो यूल सी हमारे ड्रेसिंग सेंस काफी अलग होते हैं वर्सेस योर जनरेशन व्हिच इज अ लॉट इनटू द काइंड ऑफ ड्रेसिंग कल्चर पीपल डोंट अप्रिशिएट. बट the thing is that there are certain roles which demand certain kind of dressing. Yeah, as a person I don't agree to that, है ना. I'll be very upfront, as a person I don't agree to that. बट अगर आप उस सिस्टम में है और उस सिस्टम में आप कुछ बनना एस्पायर करते हैं, लेट से आप एक अकाउंट मैनेजर बनना एस्पायर करते हैं या फिर एक पार्टनर बनना एस्पायर करते हैं, सो यू कैन, इफ यू आर थिंकिंग कि आप कंसल्टिंग में पार्टनर बनेंगे, तो आप फिर जो है शॉर्ट्स और वो स्लीवलेस में नहीं आ सकते ऑफिस, है ना. यू सी द वे दिस पार्टनर्स काइंड ऑफ पीपल ड्रेस. So again, your dressing, your non-verbal communication, your listening skills we have talked already upon, and again this is one of the most least I would say, मतलब बहुत ही कम वेटेज पे दिया गया है कि there are people जो एक मीटिंग में चुप रहते हैं पर अगली मीटिंग में since they know everything and they are able to continue the conversation, they instantly get noticed. Again, why? Because they were listening, they know how to create notes, and beyond a point in corporate, when you have survived in a company long enough, आपके पास इन्फॉर्मेशन ओवरलोड हो जाता है ना. लॉट ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन फ्लोइंग थ्रू ऑल काइंड ऑफ चैनल्स, कभी इस मीटिंग में बैठे हैं, उस मीटिंग में बैठे हैं. सो योर the way you structure your thoughts, the way you structure the information that came, and then the way you reflect it in front of the, उस तरह के लोग फिर पसंद किए जा. सो यू नो लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज डू फील कि उनका परफॉर्मेंस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम या टैलेंट मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम ऑब्जेक्टिव है, बट बियॉन्ड अ पॉइंट यू विल सी इसमें एक ह्यूमन सब्जेक्टिविटी इन्वॉल्व रहती है. वो सब्जेक्टिविटी आती है इंप्रेशन से, और वो इंप्रेशन इन चीजों से बनता है कि यार ये आदमी बहुत कॉन्फिडेंटली बात करता है, ये बहुत क्लियरली बात करता है, इसके मेल्स काफी क्लियर होते हैं विद समवन कि यार ये बहुत तेज बात करता है या ये शब्द खा जाता है, या व्हेन दिस पर्सन स्पीक्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ सीनियर मैनेजमेंट इसकी तो आवाज कपकपाती है. So this minor thing starts creating impression ke whether this person is suited to go to the next level or not. Because your CEO or especially your VPs, you will see in majority of cases they are very well articulated, very well, very confident, very well dressed. से एक टर्म हम यूज करते हैं एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रेजेंस, कि आपकी एग्जीक्यूटिव प्रेजेंस स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए, एंड दैट इज व्हाट डिसाइड वेदर फ्रॉम, क्योंकि स्टार्टिंग के करियर में ऊपर जाना बहुत इजी होता है, बट वंस यू हिट अ लेवल लेट से मैनेजर, तब मैनेजर से सीनियर मैनेजर कैसे बनेंगे, सीनियर मैनेजर से डायरेक्टर कैसे बनेंगे, वहां पे फिर वो सॉफ्ट स्किल्स वाले एरिया काफी ज्यादा मायने रखते हैं. बट इवन इन द एंट्री लेवल, those who are able to articulate well, speak with conviction, confidence, write very clearly, do not make mistakes, you can always आप एम्प्लॉय को इसी तरह डिफरेंशिएट कर सकते हैं कि यार मेल में भी स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक कर रहे हैं, लोग का नाम की स्पेलिंग गलत लिख रहे हैं, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ पीपल हु आर लाइक दैट. तो दैट शोज कैजुअलनेस कि यार वो जब उन्होंने जिसको मेल लिखा है उसका नाम ही नहीं पढ़ा, वो डियर मयंक की जगह डियर मनियंक लिख रहे हैं, सो ऑब्वियसली वो फिर impressions काउंट होते हैं. And when people keep on making, so again, corporate is works kind of on a compounding effect, कि जो लोग अच्छा कर रहे हैं और करते जाते हैं उनका इम्प्रेशन पॉजिटिव वे में कंपाउंड होता है, और जो
बढ़ता
लोग
जाता
मिस्टेक्स कर रहे हैं, हाँ, उनका इम्प्रेशन नेगेटिवली कंपाउंड होता जाता है. सो फिर 2-3 साल बाद वही आता है, हु टू प्रमोट. Obviously, there are a lot of back-end things like politics, manipulation. We are not talking about that right now, but हाँ, ये चीजें भी काफी मायने रखती हैं.
Okay. So I can gather a lot of points from here or our discussion. Firstly, 360 degree आप पहले समझ लो चीज़ों को. Listening skills develop करना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Again, we come back to the point कि हाँ communication skills कहीं ना कहीं necessary होती है because you can't fluff a lot और आप ज़्यादा रुक रुक के बात नहीं करते हो, and if you're very streamlined in the way you speak, that creates an impression. Briefly noticing the points, like to the point बात करना, I think जो आपने बोला is also one of the skills that people need to learn. हर चीज को बहुत to the point और briefly explain करना, बताना, that is again one of the skills that we need to learn. And presentation, the way we dress and the executory presence वाला term, that is one of the skills that we need to learn. Okay, so email wala part to I can understand ki nowadays with the coming of AI, I don't think anyone is going to make a spelling mistake. Like, AI आपका पूरा proofread कर देता है. It actually adds a lot of fancy stuff to it and makes it to the point. But when you're actually talking, let's say you're in a corporate boardroom and you're talking to your seniors and you're talking about some crisis. Do you think, and why I'm asking this question is because I personally prefer putting a lot of emotions into my speeches or whatever I'm speaking about. Like if I'm emotionally connected to something, it's gonna come out naturally in the way I speak, in my hand gestures and expressions. वो emotion दिखता है, and I feel like somewhere it's necessary. I want to ask your take कि अगर आप ऐसे corporate boardroom में हैं and you're speaking to your seniors and there's a crisis, would it be beneficial for you to put in some emotion so that whatever you're speaking about, to the point you're speaking, but some again those hand gestures and the way you're speaking, it would actually be an add-on when you're actually adding emotional part to it. What's your take on it?
Two things. So first, I will जैसे अभी आपने कहा कि AI आ गया है तो मिस्टेक तो नहीं होगी. इनफैक्ट if you ask me, I personally feel AI is going against people because unless and until you train your AI very well about your natural way of writing, it will give
Huh.
you a very emotionless shit. Yeah, with lot of am dashes and lot of.
So
In
happy
fact,
to hear
in
that because
in
I
fact,
do
in last
not
2 weeks,
think.
in fact, in last 2 weeks, I have given this feedback to 3 people, employees of my client and even my own intern, that it's okay you're using AI. That's fine, but at least once you have that output generated, try to blend it in a way I can consume it. Because right now, the way AI writes, it's very difficult to consume with a lot of am dashes and all that. So I personally feel if you're using AI a lot, it's very good if you know what I suggest to people. You create your first draft, and in the paragraphs you're not very sure, you take AI set to optimize those paragraphs, but still write it in your own writing style, because all of us have a very different kind. Even you and I, if we have to, let us say, write an essay on this Iran US war, both of us will write it very differently. So yeah, so I personally feel AI is more of a disadvantage at this juncture unless people know how to use it. Now I come to your second question. So when I just before my job in my last month of college, I started this audiobook, and there was a audiobook I was listening to, which was on art of public speaking. And there
Okay.
he gave an example of, if you have heard about this Julius Caesar play, and there's this character called Mark
Mm.
Antony who addresses a crowd after Caesar's assassination, and the author of that, or whatever we call जिसने भी लिखा था, he was bifurcating this speech, and he used, that's the first time I heard this term, ethos, pathos, and logos. That whenever you are speaking, you should know how to use ethos, pathos, and logos. So ethos is the ethical part of it, logos is the logical part of it, and pathos is the emotional part of it. And he said that the reason Mark Antony was able to make the crowd return to favors with Caesar and against Brutus and all that was because he used pathos a lot. So same goes, and I will answer that the question you asked me, that in your boardroom meetings or anything all, and that is the feedback I give to a lot of my clients who came to me for learning about leadership role, that knowing English is good, but talking in English like reading a news again is not very good. So a lot of people, when we talk in Hindi, है ना, हमारे एक्सप्रेशन ऑटोमेटिक वो चलते हैं, हमारी टोन, हमें कोई एफर्ट नहीं देना पड़ता, हमारी टोन खुद से मॉड्यूलेट हो जाएगी, जहां पॉज देने होंगे हम खुद से पॉज दे देंगे, जहां कहीं एम्फेसिस लाना होगा. बट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल व्हेन दे स्पीक इन इंग्लिश, व्हाट दे डू इज के जो भी उनकी मदर टंग है, हिंदी, गुजराती, मराठी, वो वहां से इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेट होता है. एंड व्हेन दे टॉक, है ना, तो वो ऐसा लगता है न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहे हैं, है ना. सो जब आप कुछ इम्पोर्टेंट चीजें डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, स्पेशली व्हाट ये जो बोर्ड मीटिंग्स रहती है, इट्स अ वेरी ग्रे एरिया, है ना, कुछ फट गया, अब वो किसकी गलती है, वो ब्लेम गेम हो रहा है, सो इट्स अ नरेटिव वॉर गेम.
CYA करेंगे
या
हर कोई.
हाँ, सो कुछ ना कुछ चल रहा है. सो if there is a restriction that you need to speak in English only there, if you're talking like you're reading a news, you're not going to get a very solid impression in terms of in front of the decision maker. And that's why I tell people that, again we come back to घूम फिर के वही वाला part, नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन के इंग्लिश बोलना ऐसा नहीं होता कि हम एक ही टोन में दिस हैपन दैट हैपन बोल रहे हैं. You should know first how to pronounce the word properly. Then when you're speaking, again same word को अलग अलग माहौल के हिसाब से आप अलग अलग टोन में बोलेंगे, है ना. तो this is an art lot of people need to learn, that if I am aggressive, then I have to show that aggression from my pronunciation, from my body language, from my hand movement, even from my eyes. Vis-a-vis if I am calm, if I am trying to avoid confrontation again. So same चीज को कहने का तरीका बहुत अलग हो जाएगा. सो लेट अस से सामने वाला, जैसे सपोज एचआर और फाइनेंस की बहुत लड़ाई होती है, ऑडिट टीम की बहुत लड़ाई होती है, एंड बियॉन्ड अ पॉइंट आई नीड टू काम देम डाउन. सो आई हैव टू से लाइक, लेट अस नॉट गेट इनटू इट, है ना. सो आई एम लाइक पुशिंग देम. एंड इफ आई एम लाइक यार ऑलरेडी बहुत लड़ाई हो चुकी है, अब काम डाउन हो, सामने वाले मुझ पे आरोप लगा रहे हैं, तो प्लीज प्लीज लेट अस नॉट गेट इनटू दैट. तो आपकी टोन, आपकी बात करने का तरीका, है ना. और वो ऐसा नहीं है, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि हर जगह काम ही रहना है. देयर आर टाइम्स व्हेन यू हैव टू बी एग्रेसिव. देयर आर टाइम जब आपको एकदम पूरी ऑल गन्स ब्लेजिंग में ही जाना पड़ता है इस तरह की मीटिंग्स में. सो अगेन टू अंडरस्टैंड द कॉन्टेक्स्ट एंड देन changing your tone, the way you're modulating, the way you're pausing, है ना. sometimes आपको right, जैसे MBA वाला जो crowd रहता है, जो MBA जाना चाहता है, उन्हें हम जब मैं कॉलेजेस में जाता हूँ सिखाने, तो मैं उन्हें ये बोलता हूँ कि अगर आप ग्रुप डिस्कशन में पार्ट ले रहे हैं, तो ग्रुप डिस्कशन में बोलने के अलावा कब रुकना है भी इतना इंपॉर्टेंट है. व्हेन टू टेक अ पॉज, व्हेन टू अलाउ समवन टू टॉक, और व्हेन टू कट समवन. सो ये बहुत ही फाइन लाइन रहती है कि आपको सामने वाले को काटना भी आना चाहिए और खुद को चुप कराना भी आना चाहिए, और सामने वाले को खुद को चुप करा के सामने वाले को इनवाइट कराना भी आना चाहिए. ऑल बिकम्स पार्ट ऑफ योर लैंग्वेज एंड कम्युनिकेशन.
ओके, सो ये क्वेश्चन मुझे मेरे फ्रेंड्स से काफी सुनने को मिलता है, एंड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल दैट आई हैव कम अक्रॉस इन माय लाइफ. और बहुत ही क्लीशे है ये सवाल, पर आप ये जो बोल रहे हो कि आपको सुनना, मतलब रुकना भी जरूरी होता है, सिर्फ इंग्लिश बोलना जरूरी नहीं है, उसको विद द करेक्ट पॉजेज, विद द करेक्ट एक्सप्रेशन, विद द करेक्ट टोन, ये सारी चीजें, हाउ लाइक अगर इफ देयर इज अ न्यू बॉर्न बेबी एंड द पेरेंट्स एक्चुअली वांट कि भाई वो वैसे ही बड़ा हो, तो what are the activities or the ways into the ways in which they can actually learn these particular skills, कि ना वो सिर्फ इंग्लिश बोलना ही ना सीखे, but he learns these other non-verbal things as well. आपने कैसे सीखा ये, तो आप मेरे फ्रेंड्स को बताइए.
So my journey was a bit different. So like you, I was born and brought up in Ujjain, and I would say till schooling, तो मेरी English, though I used to get very good marks, but in terms of communication, it was not very good. Then जब मैं इंदौर में आया and studying in Indore's college, I realized there are a lot of people who can speak better than me, and obviously a lot of us were coaching for cat at that time, जहाँ पे obviously by default you're supposed to. So मैंने थोड़ा अलग मतलब अगेन यहाँ भी एक ट्रैक है, मैं हमेशा लोगों को बोलता हूँ कि यार वो करो जो आप सस्टेन कर पाओ, एंड फॉर मी दैट वाज रीडिंग. सो मैंने बहुत सारे नॉवेल्स रीड किए. That novel reading helped me with grammar and vocabulary first. Now when it comes to purely speaking, मेरा थोड़ा अलग चीट शीट था. What I used to do back then, मैं बहुत मूवीज देखता था, तो मैं सेम मूवी को पहले हिंदी में चलाता था, फिर इंग्लिश में चलाता था, जस्ट टू सी के वो होता कैसे है, मतलब वो किस तरह से बात कर रहे हैं. देन वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड सजेस्टेड मी वेरी गुड थिंग. ही सेड कि यार तेरा वोकैब स्ट्रांग है, बट यू डोंट नो हाउ टू यूज वर्ड्स करेक्टली. सो व्हाट यू शुड डू, जब भी कोई नया वर्ड तू एनकाउंटर करे, जस्ट गूगल इट एंड सी उसका यूजेज क्या है ना. बिकॉज कई बार ऐसा रहता है कि वर्ड को हम जब हिंदी में समझते हैं, इंग्लिश टू हिंदी, वो अलग रहता है, बट उसका यूजेज जो इंग्लिश में करते हैं बहुत अलग होता है. सो देन आई स्टार्टेड डूइंग दैट अगेन. बहुत सारी बुक्स में लाया. एक वो एटिमोलॉजी वाली बुक थी कि किसी इंग्लिश वर्ड का जो रूट है वो या तो लैटिन होता है, ग्रीक होता है, टू अंडरस्टैंड अ वर्ड फ्रॉम दैट से. So I would definitely say I worked very hard. One of the few things I have worked hard in my life, that was on communication, and I enjoyed it. That's the reason I was able to. वरना ऐसी बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो hard work करके छोड़ दी, but that is one thing that sustained. So again, you have to understand कि आपकी क्या trick रहेगी, whether it is reading. जैसे one of my friend improved his English purely by listening to commentaries के commentators कैसे बात करते हैं अलग अलग स्पोर्ट्स में, not only in cricket, बिकॉज दैट इज द वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वे टू अंडरस्टैंड इमोशंस. कमेंट्री बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होती है. आई नॉट अबाउट हिंदी कमेंट्री के बॉल गई धाएं बाएं वट एवर शिट जो हम हिंदी में करते हैं, बट इंग्लिश कमेंट्री जो पहले होती थी, व्हेन टोनी ग्रेग एंड ऑल दैट होते हैं, सो उसने वहां से सीखी थी. अब कमिंग बैक टू योर सेकंड क्वेश्चन कि अभी कोई नया कैसा सीख सकता है, सो उसमें एक so interestingly, my wife is on a team lead position, and she handles a lot of people. And some new girl came to her team, and she was very impressed by her way of speaking. एंड उसने कहा यार ये इतनी अच्छी इंग्लिश कैसे बोल रही है, इसकी उम्र में अपन तो नहीं बोल पाते थे. सो आई टोल्ड हर कि यार चेक हर बैकग्राउंड, वो या तो डीयू से होगी या सेंट जेवियर्स कहीं से होगी, कोलकाता या बैंगलोर से. सो दैट इज ऐसा था ना, वो जो हम वहां पे जा रहे हैं थोड़ा क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ लाइफ में कि you become what your ecosystem is. The reason you and I may not be able to speak as fluently as those who are in Delhi and Kolkata was because हम बचपन से उस तरह के इको चैम्बर्स में नहीं रहे हैं जहाँ बहुत ही पॉलिश्ड इंग्लिश स्पीकर हो. सो बियॉन्ड द पॉइंट हम लेट, जैसे आप अब पहुंच रही हैं, मैं भी अपने मिड 20s में पहुंचा था कि यार आई एम इन पार्ट ऑफ दोस बोर्ड रूम मीटिंग्स एंड ऑल दैट, एंड देयर आई ऑब्जर्व्ड कि यार एक सीईओ इस तरह से बात करता है, एक सीटीओ इस तरह से बात करता है. तो अगर आप मेरी माने तो वो अगर कोई बच्चा है तो बच्चे को तो थोड़ा बच्चा ही रहने देते हैं, वो सीख जाएगा विद टाइम. बट देन लॉट ऑफ टेड टॉक्स आर अवेलेबल दैट टॉक्स प्योरली अबाउट बॉडी लैंग्वेज कैसा होना चाहिए बात करते टाइम. लॉट ऑफ बुक्स आर देयर. बट इन केस यू वांट एंड यू डिजायर एंड द kid is also interested in, you have to put, जैसे बहुत सारे टोस्ट मास्टर्स और रोटरैक्ट इन सबके क्लब्स होते हैं. रीडिंग थैंकफुली अभी तो उज्जैन में भी बात हो रही है, बुक क्लब बनाएंगे, रीडिंग क्लब बनाएंगे एंड ऑल दैट. इंदौर में तो होंगे ऑलरेडी फॉर श्योर. यू हैव टू सेंड योर किड टू दोस काइंड ऑफ इकोसिस्टम वेयर देयर आर पीपल. बट टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट, हम लोग तो ऐसे स्कूलों में पढ़े जब इंग्लिश टीचर को खुद ही प्रोनाउंसिएशन नहीं आते थे. सो ऑब्वियसली हम हमारा तो मतलब ना वो गुडान में ही डिफेक्ट है, तो फिर वो शोरूम तो ऐसा ही निकलेगा, टाइप्स हो जाता है. बट हाँ, आई डोंट नो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ टीचिंग इज बीइंग डन इन स्कूल्स दीस डेज, बट बियॉन्ड दैट यू हैव टू बी इन दोस काइंड ऑफ इकोसिस्टम जहाँ सोशल इंटरेक्शन में भी लोग उस तरह की अंग्रेजी बोल रहे हैं. वहीं से बच्चा सीखेगा. जैसे बच्चों के बारे में सिंपल बोलते हैं ना कि किड्स ऑब्जर्व एंड देन दे डू द सेम थिंग, दे इमिटेट. तो वही आपको करना पड़ेगा. अब वो कैसे होगा पता नहीं, मे बी आप खुद एक बच्चों का ग्रुप बना के यू कैन स्टार्ट सम सॉर्ट ऑफ अ वीकली बुक रीडिंग और ऑल दैट.
We are going to wind up our interview with the just last question. I have read, okay, this is something that I'm advising all my friends and everyone who's watching this interview. Please go and read Mayank Sharma sir's LinkedIn post, because you're going to actually realize ki ये वो है जिन्होंने चैट जीपीटी को इतने टाइम से परखा है, देखा है, एंड he has his opinions and thoughts about ChatGPT and you'll love reading them because I do. So, sir, अब मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूँ कि do you really think that ChatGPT and these AI stuff are actually gonna help people learn English in a better way? Because he just discussed that it depends a lot on the ecosystem fact and you actually need to put in a lot of effort to learn English. आपको books पढ़नी पड़ेगी, आपको movies देखनी पड़ेगी, you actually have to meet people. So, can AI actually replace all this stuff since you have so much experience with it?
So again, it depends on person. To say, my nephew is just 11 years old, and if I compare him with when I was 11 years old, he's able to speak a lot better. Why? Because of a very bad habit. He plays a lot of multiplayer video games. Yeah, this
Video
Roblox and I don't know mine. Yeah, Roblox, Minecraft, and from there, from group chats, he started communicating to people in English, and even his school marks are really good. Like generally scores like pretty close to a near perfect in English. Yeah, so again, there you can't say one way of learning English. In fact, I forgot to mention when I was trying to learn English. There was a game I played, two games, GTA Vice City and GTA San Andreas, and a lot of the English word I picked at that time that I used to speak a lot that were from those two games. So obviously, then come a stage. I think a lot of people, especially in lockdown, started learning English from Duolingo or apps like that. So in Chat GPT, Chat GPT is more like an umbrella thing. It's not just before talking to you yesterday night I was making my workout plan from chat gpt और I was discussing मैं ये कर रहा हूँ तू बता दे कुछ और करना है so obviously chat gpt can give you structure, it can give you guidance, it can give you n number of ways, and what it is good at it is you can brainstorm a lot of options that this is working for me, this is not working for me, now you suggest what to do. So definitely in terms of brainstorming and all, ChatGPT is very good, but then beyond a point, this is where I feel human intelligence comes, that ChatGPT आपको कुछ ABC रास्ते बता देगा. Now you have to be smart enough and good at self reflection कि what is the best for me. कैन आई लर्न लाइक व्हाट आई डिड कि नॉवेल्स पढ़ रहे हैं, अंग्रेजी पिक्चर देख रहे हैं, उससे कैन आई लर्न वी आर प्लेन ओल्ड स्कूल के ठीक है स्टोरीज एंड ऑल दैट, ग्रामर्स की बुक लिया है रन एंड मार्टिन एंड वो वर्ड पावर मेड इजी एंड वॉट एवर एंड उससे पढ़ रहे हैं. Or because my ecosystem is strong enough, I enrolled in Toastmaster, or I went to an, because I personally feel I work better with an English structure, so I joined some spoken English classes. So again, chat gpt can give you options. Where you need to be smart enough is to understand your type. Like I know
You the
the way I could have learnt English was reading novels, was I was joining a class. If I had joined a class, I would have not done that well. सो अगेन एक इंसान को भी समझना होगा कि उसकी स्ट्रेंथ कहाँ है, उसकी वीकनेस कहाँ है, एंड देन मे बी इफ यू आर स्मार्ट इनफ टू डू दिस काइंड ऑफ सेल्फ इंस्ट्रक्शन, वो आप चैट जीपीटी को फीड करके मे बी यू कैन गेट दैट परफेक्ट पाथ और फिर उसको फॉलो करना. अगेन जैसे एक एग्जांपल मैं हमेशा देता हूँ कि वेट कम करना कितना सिंपल है. यू डू वर्कआउट, you eat less, you do a calorie deficit, हो जाएगा. बट अगेन इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट वे. इवेंचुअली जब उसको करना है, बहुत सारे न्यूएंसेस आ जाते हैं और फिर वो मैक्रो ट्रैकिंग माइक्रो ट्रैकिंग सब आ जाती है, प्रोटीन कितना ले रहे हो, कार्ब्स कितने कम ले रहे हो, सब आ जाता है. तो दैट्स द थिंग, चैट जीपीटी आपको जेनरिक स्ट्रक्चर देता है, बट व्हेन यू स्टार्ट डूइंग थिंग्स यू लर्न अबाउट द न्यूएंसेस एंड देन यू हैव टू पिक एंड चूज कि दिस path is for me, this path is not for me. That's all.
Okay, so in short, the human effort is required, and human intelligence in itself to choose the path is required.
True.
Okay, so we come to the end of our video, but before you leave, I actually want to address to my audience that I'll be very honest and up and about it. This is not our first video. We have actually rescheduled our video to the first time I actually had an interview with sir. I don't know why, but my internet connection, I lost it. पूरे एरिया का इंटरनेट कनेक्शन चला गया था एंड आई वाज सो वरीड. आई स्टार्टेड कॉलिंग सर कि सर आई एम ट्राइंग माय लेवल बेस्ट, आई एम यूजिंग माय मोबाइल डाटा, आई एम ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट टू समवन एल्स बट वो नहीं हो पा रहा है, व्हाट शुड आई डू? एंड यू नो व्हाट ही सेड, ही वाज लाइक, Hira, chill, you just need to move along. Shit happens, you just need to move along, you need to move forward and don't take so much stress, we can reschedule it. And those words was so encouraging, and they gave me so much strength, because people like us who are newcomers and actually entering this field of podcasting and interview, we need that kind of support, because being tech, wo kai baar kharab ho jata hai and things don't go your way. So sir being so generous, so kind, and so thoughtful, sir, I really want to tell you that those words and those text messages on WhatsApp, that really helped me. Because of them, today, by God's grace, we have actually completed our interview finally. And I hope it's going to help a lot of people. Thank you so much.